bring it to you. They come at you in waves. Georgia Tech really doesn't have much depth. So that 1 through 5 you're seeing right now have to play at a high level and for a lot of minutes to succeed in this game.
Both teams 1-1 so far in the early ACC action. Of course, 20 conference games for the first time this year. We get back to ACC play, and off we go from Tallahassee.
Polite gets the start, number 2, in for MJ Walker, who's out with a little hip injury. Polite, a very good defender on the ball and an outstanding three-point shooter.
All right, you talk about the waves that Florida State can come at you with. They are shorthanded because of that. They've had to deal with injuries this season, and Florida State turns over Georgia Tech right away.
That's the kind of stuff that'll drive a coach crazy. Moses Wright turned and pivoted and literally swung the ball one-handed back out to the perimeter. You have to be sound. Two-hand chest passes, ball fakes, be strong with the ball. You cannot be loose with it.
Told you about the lineup change. Trent Forrest, the leader, has it for Florida State. A mix between zone and man for Georgia Tech. And turnovers on both sides right away. Sends one to our laps.
Usually I'm ready to catch it to shoot. There I was worried about Polite. I was like, I'm not taking the charge here. I was ready to toss him into Aria, our stage manager. Just deal with that.
6'6", 215 coming your way. Roger Ayers came by and he said, nice hands, fellas. Not sure about that.
I think our eyes were as big as saucers. It's okay.
Covered up by the beautiful glasses or goggles we had on. Here's Jordan Usher, the USC transfer. We talk about Georgia Tech being at full strength, the guy who became eligible after a mid-year transfer last season from USC.
He really adds something different from a high-energy guy that can score, can slash a little bit. He'll need to play at a high level today, too. And you've got to take care of these corners, and they talked a lot about it in Georgia Tech shoot-around, as did in Florida State, a place to exploit that 1-3-1 in the short corner or in the deep corner for the open 3, and Vassell knocked it down.
And another near turnover does stay with Georgia Tech as Wright lost the handle.
It's a really delicate balance, Mike, to play aggressive but not play too fast. You want to be aggressive and go at Florida State, because when you're on your heels, they just smell blood in the water, and they will fully attack as they are right now. They trapped that inbounds pass in the corner. Good job by Alvarado to split it for the trap.
It's on Michael DeVoe, the sophomore guard back in his home state, the Orlando native. So not even 90 seconds in, Josh Pastner is going to the bench, and he marvels at what Leonard Hamilton can do. He told us yesterday at practice he was considering going up to Leonard Hamilton before the game today and say, not only how do you play 11 guys regularly in your rotation, how do you keep them all happy?
Hamilton tell you, these guys know exactly what they're getting into when they come play for me. We run a ton of guys at you with a family atmosphere, and any night it can be your night. We want to go out there and try to win championships. That's what we're about, and every guy that comes here knows what the deal is.
Asante Price was denied on the drive, and back come the Seminoles. Raekwon Gray kicks. Vassell wanted his second, and Banks one-arms the rebound. A turnover by Alvarado, usually sure-handed. Force left it short, and it belongs to Georgia Tech.
I think Forrest actually taken one more dribble and maybe got into the finger roll there and attacked the rim. He's settled a little bit for that floater, but right now you're seeing Georgia Tech play at a helter-skelter pace. They do play faster than they have in recent years. They're top 100 in pace, but they are really loose to the rock right now, and they are playing into Florida State's hands. The Noles have just not been able to capitalize. 5
possessions so far for Georgia Tech. 0 of 2 from the floor and 3 turnovers. Alvarado throws the lob for Banks.
He can be a difference maker for him, and we saw that in their last game against Hawaii, and Josh Pastner told us that whenever James Banks plays, they're a way better team, and he did not play well in the first half against Hawaii. Great job by Trent Forrest there to get out of that trap. He was patient. That is a senior veteran move. Ball fake and split the trap and go through. This is a great pass by Alvarado, right at the rim, right over the outstretched fingers of Malik Osborne. Couldn't get his hands on it.
And then the foul went on Jordan Usher, his first.
Against this 1-3-1, becomes kind of a 2-3 matchup zone as you move the ball from side to side. They want to get some reversals, play into the short corner where Raekwon Gray is, look for skip passes. They did right there as Alvarado gets him on the trip. And they want to be aggressive as well. Don't allow them changing defenses, whether it's the press, the zone. At times they'll go straight man. Allow that to slow you down. Play through it and play through their system. He said it doesn't matter if they're man or zone. We're going to run our actions and be confident.
Josh Pastner says we're a difficult team to prepare for the opponent's offense because of our defense, especially if you're only seeing us for the first time in a season or only maybe one time a year.
Yeah, that's the key to changing defenses. And it's hard to do multiple defenses well, but if you can, which they have, they're top 20 in the nation defensive efficiency. As Vassell again in that corner, able to knock down that shot. They are very good defensively, and they keep you off balance with the changing tempo, throwing different defenses at you.
All 5 for Devin Vassell, the sophomore guard from Sewanee, Georgia. Usher on the drive. Loves to get downhill and get to the rim, and it does stay with Georgia Tech. Moses Wright returns, and Bubba Parham checks in.
Georgia Tech's got to be careful when they inbound this ball again. When Florida State kind of has this zone, they're just trying to zone up cutters, pass guys off on the OB unders. When you throw it in the corner, they're going to trap you in there, and they get turnovers on that. You've got to be smart where you catch the ball.
Such a focus for Josh Pastner's team yesterday here at practice. Moses Wright doing a lot of dribbling as the shot clock winds down. DeVoe swatted away by Patrick Williams, a very impressive freshman in this conference.
Williams only plays 21 minutes a game, folks, but don't let his numbers fool you. He's not stuffing the stat sheet because his numbers, he's only played many minutes, but he is a top 15, top 10 draft pick type potential. NBA body already, loves to defend, can really pass the ball well, and smart player.
He went up on the shot fake. Parham couldn't connect, but a reset for Tech and a 3 for DeVoe.
Best time to take a 3 off an offensive rebound.
You hear that so much in analytics. You're a shooter. Why is that such a shot that guys love?
Because there's it's chaos underneath, so the kick out is there. Usually you're unguarded, so you have an opportunity to take a step in, wide open jumper many times.
Gray a little bit out of control. And a 5-5 start. Hey, Roy Williams coming up on some ACC history. We'll tell you about another coach in the ACC passing the legends in the coaching ranks.
Gatorade Zero. All the electrolytes, zero sugar.
Boom, and I really care what my mom too.
Continue to mature. He has 6 new guys. They're still trying to figure some stuff out. They're still looking for, an alpha dog in terms of how they approach both sides of the basket. But they got tons of potential.
Yeah, that's maybe the thing that's different about this year's team. We were talking to him yesterday at practice. He said, we don't have the Al Thornton or the Tony Douglas on this year's team.
Yeah, it's different. So last year you had Phil Kofer, Terrence Mann. You had a number of guys that could assume the role. Good back cut.
Alvarado tried to go around the length of the 7'1" Balsha Koprivica. Lose a couple 7-footers, you replace them with a couple more for Leonard Hamilton. And there's Polite from deep, the redshirt sophomore from Switzerland.
Polite, 66% of his shots are threes. He comes in hunting threes. He's shooting 35% on the year. And that was a great catch and shoot, quick release.
He hit 4 all in the second half in the lone ACC win early on for Florida State right here against Clemson. DeVoe, a top 5 scorer in the ACC. Parham hits to answer.
Bubba, that's a big shot from a guy that's shooting sub 30% in the season from 3. Now Leonard Hamilton and his team live with that, but be aware if he gets warmer, it gets hot a little bit, they'll have to close out harder.
Transfer from VMI, and again, it's the focus for Josh Pastner today. Good guard play. Polite off the shot fake into the mid-range, and the rebound right. He loves to push, never afraid to do this. And he swatted. Look out. Raekwon Evans went up to meet him.
Evans is 6'4", but he's long and he's athletic, and he's showing you right now. In the play before, Alvarado got all his shot altered by Koprivica, as you see a great block by Evans here. This is the tallest team in college basketball, according to Ken Pomeroy. Just shy of 80 inches is their average height, and they use every bit of that defending the perimeter and defending the hoop.
3 blocks already for Florida State. They turn you over, they get steals, but they also, with that length, block a lot of shots. They tried to face up on 7'1", and he turns it over.
Bad decision.
Patrick Williams is blocked on the other end by Moses Wright.
That's a great play by Wright because he didn't compound his mistake. He makes a mistake on one end, but then he sprints back the other way and gets the block as DeVoe was clearly outmatched down there with Williams.
6 minutes in, only 6 combined made field goals. Williams can step out. There's a tip and a foul. Koprivica took the hard fall.
Don't want to see that for the freshman at all. He really has started to come into his own in the last couple of games. 2 of the last 3 games getting double figures, setting career high in points. And this just shows some of his dexterity and athleticism to kind of lean over that. That's not over the back as he's going straight up, and you see DeVoe is actually walking back into him. He's established his position. He can go up to tip that ball. You can't undercut him like that. And you actually see Lamar Simpson was explaining to DeVoe right there off camera saying you backed up into him, which is what he did.
And Balša Koprivica still feeling the effects of it. The 7'1" freshman center from Serbia. Number 51 in our ESPN 100. 1 spot behind another very good freshman big man, Kofi Coburn of Illinois. And he'll check out here and get replaced by Dominik Olinichuk.
He is laboring. You never want to see that from a young player. He's trying to get off.
There's already been a growing number of injury concerns for Florida State this season. And if you joined us late, remember, no MJ Walker today, the junior guard for Florida State, due to a hip injury that he re-aggravated in the game over the weekend right here.
And one of the lead guards, one of the leading scorers that can be a creator for himself and his teammates. So to not have him healthy in this game is important, especially the Louisville game looming next week.
DeVoe draws a foul. Walker is tucked behind there on the bench. He's had a few different issues, not just the hip, which was an issue in the preseason. Then he landed on that same hip in the game Saturday. He also missed some time earlier this year with a hyperextended knee that he suffered in practice.
I talked to him after shooter and said, "You getting healthy?" He said, I'm trying everything I can. Just got to get a little luck.
There've been hips, there've been hamstrings. There's a calf issue for Olinichuk earlier this year. 2-point lead for number 18, Florida State. Wyatt Wilkes into the game, known for his shooting, but he lost it. DeVoe extra pass for Alvarado. Weak side rebound. Right back for Alvarado. He misses both from the same spot, and it belongs to the Seminoles.
In the same manner, just a bit short, releasing long, and that's a good second opportunity. He's got to take that shot. Now, Alvarado's ankle's fully healthy, but he has been dealing with a little bit of a sickness, but he doesn't look any worse to wear right now. And long 35, 33 plus minutes a game in the Diamond Head Classic out in Hawaii last week, so he's good to go.
You asked Josh Pastner today at shoot-around, hey, does the sickness limit the minutes at all? And Josh Pastner adamant it will not with a guy they lean so heavily on. How about the effort by Vassell? Goes down to the deck and takes a timeout. That is ACC play for you. 30-second timeout, then right back to Tallahassee. Out on the deck, got the timeout. Florida State's got possession. And Vassell had the first 5 today for the Seminoles.
And he's really developed his game since a role player freshman year. He'd come on and just really take threes. Now he's able to knock down threes still at a good clip of just under 38%. But you saw already in this game, he's got a block shot. He has a rebound out of his area. He's got great length and makes great hustle plays. He's one of these potential emerging leaders. Could be their alpha dog where they go to him in times where they need a play, or defensively kind of help galvanize guys, because he is a high energy guy. And at 6'7", he shoots it with a high release. He's tough to guard.
Alvarado reached in for a held ball. Does keep it with Florida State.
They worked on this a lot in shoot-around. It's against that 1-3-1. You want to move the ball, maybe get in the high post. We talked about the corners already, but at times, you got to drive the gaps. You got to drive through 2 guys with strength. He tried to, but Alvarado was equal to the task.
Olinichuk, nice hook with the right hand.
Good entry pass, good post up. He sat deep on Moses Wright. He got good deep post position.
23-year-old 7-foot grad transfer originally from Poland. Played at Drake earlier in his career. And then most recently, Ole Miss. And another Tech turnover.
Again, Georgia Tech, they're 23rd. They turn over on 23% of their possessions. That's bottom 30 in the nation. You can't do that against this Florida State team. Conversely, you can't have Moses Wright get just pinned so deep, and Olenicek just in rhythm. He had no pressure. There was no help from DeVoe to dig down on him as the wing player, and it was too easy for him to score that.
Forrest turns the corner, tried to shield Banks, and then Wright tried to rip it away, and it belongs to Georgia Tech.
One thing with Tech's turnovers that haven't hurt them, and tons of coaches use this vernacular, stealing from football, and Josh Pastner did as well, no pick sixes. There have not been a lot of just turnovers to the wing, leading to dunks, leading to 2-on-1s. There have been some dead ball turnovers, have been turnovers within transition that haven't hurt them as much yet. But it's a slippery slope. You can't keep playing this game.
You've got Georgia Tech, the worst turnover margin in the ACC, against Florida State with the best turnover margin in the conference. Williams commits the foul. Usher had already used 7 of the 10 seconds.
This is a great point. This is where he'll learn. He is so physically gifted and smart. His body is already here. Don't reach. Just stand him up, and then he was probably going to dribble it off your leg. And if he maintains possession, the odds he crosses the next 8 feet before 3 seconds.
Ground to cover.
10 feet before the 3 seconds. Not good against Williams. He just got to be smart and sound there. He'll learn that with time.
He is a freshman, so willing defensively. I know that's something you love about him.
Yeah, not every guy's like that, especially when you're a future lottery pick.
Come on! Ambitious lob. Alvarado was looking for Usher, who wanted a foul, and back come the Seminoles. Gray on the step through. Offensive foul.
Easy call for the official. Raekwon Gray's got great feet. Couldn't quite get that Euro. They're up 4 though as we go to break. It came close last night against Florida. It made it competitive. I know many folks around the ACC interested to see how these 10 teams, which is a record to get in bowl games, do. Started off strong as a group. That would have been a big one, though.
And you had a front row seat for probably the headline game so far.
Yeah, that semifinal game, being the Fiesta Bowl, sitting there watching the sidelines with our ACC Network crew was pretty, I'd say pretty cool. Eric McLean, former Clemson Tiger, he was not impartial, I can say that.
Can understand that.
Yeah. Nice move.
A kick from Alvarado. By the way, Florida State coming up later today in the Sun Bowl. Right on the baseline with a teardrop with the shot clock winding down.
Tech switching up now, going to a man. Trent Forrest recognize it right away, get them into their actions, and get moving.
Williams, he is a very good passer. That one deflected.
That's also, can he get to the next level? Because in high school, that pass in the air works. If he throws it as a bounce pass, it gets in, but it's also a 7-footer. That's lob. That's to the rim. You throw that up to the rim, that's a dunk. He's got the step, you just toss it up. Or if you go bounce pass, but you see Olenicek says points up, because I'm 7 feet tall. You get it up there, and he's the only one that's going to get it.
Olenicek did just check out. Florida State will go small now. Malik Osborne's the big man. Still no sign of Balsha Koprivica after he took the hard fall earlier. Alvarado on the run out, but still his second block today.
Wingspan. Drink. Holy cow. I mean, Alvarado did everything you're supposed to do. Put your body in front of him, try to cut him off. I shouldn't say that. He did not put his body there as much as he should have. You've got to shield the ball better. He laid it up there for him. And holy cow, Vassell erased that. Those are opportunities that the Yellow Jackets you've got to convert on those when you have 2-on-1 breakout ops like that.
I mean, he seriously almost hit his head on the rim. 6'7", Devin Vassell. I like that drinking game, by the way.
It's the Jay Billis drinking game right there.
Favorite around draft time.
Okay. Yep.
Vassell commits the foul. slow start in this one. Only 4 shots made from the floor for Georgia Tech. Same number of blocks that Florida State has.
Out of that break, though, too. I mean, Florida State has had 14 possessions. They've turned it over in 6. That's 43%. Now, again, I said I haven't gotten hurt. Only 2 points off turnovers for Florida State, but you cannot live that way if you're going to win this game. Great, controlled, off the ball screen, knockdown jumper by Usher, but he did step on the line.
A long 2 for the junior from Canton, Georgia. He's been averaging 10 a game since he became eligible after the transfer. Banks got the deflection. They went to Forrest. Tough follow-up.
Great recovery, because Florida State's, they've been pretty sloppy with the ball, too. And Georgia Tech going this man, they've got great energy right now. Easily broke the press, but erased again.
This time it's Osborne with the 5th Seminoles block in 10 minutes of game action.
5th in the nation in block rate. And 17% of their defensive possessions, they ended a block. That is 5th in the nation, and you're seeing why. So much length, athleticism, ability to protect the rim, even when they get carved up. That was horrible press defense. They walked right through, but Osborne erases the mistake.
DeVoe. On the follow, it's Banks. Let's see how that length and those recent blocks change a shot.
Well, that, again, straight line drive forces Gray to help. So when Gray helps off, he leaves right there to throw it down. Banks there to throw it down.
15 all just past the midway point of this first half. And Gray was stripped. DeVoe on the run out. And he is blocked. This time it was Trent Forrest. Forrest off the ball screen. Osborne trying to carve out space, and Wright denies it. DeVoe. And Wright all alone to put Georgia Tech in front.
They need a breath here right now. Jose Alvarado's got his hands on his knees. He's back upright, but there are guys playing up and down right now. And I'll tell you what, Raekwon Gray, 1 and white's got to be a little smarter. He is turning the ball over at a rate that just can't happen. 4 turnovers already just from himself in this game.
Vassell. Tough shot in the mid-range, won't go, and Wright attacks the boards. He's been playing so well recently. And Wright walks with it. Turnover number 7 for Georgia Tech.
Josh Pastner started like smashing the scores table, just frustration. Those are unforced errors. And I mean, this is your point guard, Trent Forrest, getting back into Alvarado. But that also is a weak take with your one hand kind of laying it up there. Now there you see Gray rotate over. He can't quite get there to erase it. And Banks, his man, he had to rotate off him there for the easy tip dunk.
It sounds so simple a question, but for guys like us who have a lower center of gravity, what do you do?
Lower center of gravity.
What do you do?
Shorter.
Shot
Go ahead.
blockers?
You've got to use your body. Now I would say this too: jump stop, throw a shot fake, because Florida State's leaving their feet and they're timing everything right now. So throw a shot fake in there, get into their body, and then get yourself to the free throw line.
This has not been an offensive clinic.
No. And the ball has been thrown all over the place by both teams right now. Combined 14 turnovers.
9 combined blocked shots. DeVoe. Kicks for Usher. That's short. And good work on the glass by Florida State. Polite. Swirls out. Loose ball to Vassell. He doesn't get the roll, but the follow is there.
It's all created by Olenechuk. The 7-footer, they had no answer. He was able to get a hand on a ball that he shouldn't have. There's 3 blue jerseys in there, but he got the ball batted out and kept it in the Noles' possession.
And more of an onus on Olenechuk. Still no sign of the freshman 7-footer, Koprivica. And Olenechuk himself just getting back healthy. Didn't play Saturday due to illness. That forced him to lose 15 pounds.
That's crazy. Turnover. Drink. New game for everybody at home.
Blocks and turnovers. It's been the story so far, but we do have a good one on the defensive end. Both teams getting up at the rim, 17 apiece. Tech with an opportunity here on the road against a ranked opponent, and Florida State trying to hold serve at home in conference action.
You talked a lot earlier about this Georgia Tech zone, which is tough, but they've gone man the last 7 possessions, and I think it's helped them defensively. They have more energy and more just raw talent than Josh Pastner's had in recent years. So now with going man is something they like to do, and they're pretty effective at it.
Shot clock below 10 for Polite and the Seminoles. Olenichuk with that length and a nice hook shot again for the big fella.
Standing duck in, great entry pass.
Banks on the power dribble, denied. And a bump on Banks, and it's his first foul.
So Olenichuk, the grad transfer, just ducking in. You can see Banks just playing behind him, not even trying to work around or work him up the lane. That is too easy, and a good recognition by Polite that he had him on his back, drop it down and finish. You see Olenichuk, his hands on his knees, he's breathing heavy. Bolsa Koprivica is getting warmed up on the bike. Ooh!
Near follow with a slam that almost was for Williams. And a carry on DeVoe.
We'll see how long Olenichuk can go as you see Bolsa working his way back. Hopefully he can go. His back is what is ailing him right now. Chuck Walsh, the SID, telling us he's going to give it a go once it loosens up. And they'll need him because, again, Olenichuk can only give you so many minutes. And when you take him out, you got to go small to Malik Osborne. It's a different look right now as both those bigs have been effective.
Right, because Olenichuk's a guy who missed so much practice time earlier this year with a calf strain. We told you he didn't play Saturday due to illness that forced him to lose 15 pounds. Double dribble and a turnover as his minutes climb.
See Stan Jones, the assistant, says you just got to pass the ball. But sometimes when you're sucking gas, but you're feeling a little bit, you want to keep going. You kind of lose your sorts a bit.
Two-point lead for the Seminoles, just under 5.5 remaining in these opening 20 minutes. Alvarado with a dump off for Banks, gets the roll plus a foul.
Alvarado operating well out of that ball screen, and that's something that he's really good at. And that's why he was just picking them apart, especially in the second half. But he made Olenichuk stay a little too long, and Trent Forrest couldn't get back and square him up. Polite, number 2, was a step late, and you need to rotate over, and he needs to put a body on Banks, and if anything, knock that ball down, or if you foul him on the ground. Don't let him get an and one.
Can't stamp the three-point play. Banks battling in the post with Olenichuk. Now off that side ball screen, Olenichuk draws a foul.
And they love that ball screen out of the corner, out of the wing, and you can get that lob to the big. Good job by Vassell taking that one dribble with well-placed ball. Olenichuk gets himself to the line.
And the second foul on James Banks, the third. So Josh Pastner is never deterred by that. Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. Big 12 play starts up. Oklahoma State and number 22, Texas Tech in Lubbock. Chris Beard's team, they had a couple consecutive overtime losses, but they have responded with a 4-game winning streak and one of the great wins of the college basketball season against Louisville.
For sure, and they won that game without Jameis Ramsey, who's their best player and future NBA player. He was out injured, missed a couple of those overtime losses as well. So having him back is really going to change this team.
Crowd wanted a walk on Alvarado trying to get through that Florida State pressure. Alvarado gives it away. Here's Forrest with the reverse.
There's your difference. James Banks trailing second in ACC in blocks. He doesn't get the block as Forrest uses the rim, goes up and under. That is a heady play. Fine, you're starting yourself behind the 8 ball.
They break it again. DeVoe connects. Got just enough room. Good ball movement by Georgia Tech. Williams tried to muscle back the other way. A tie-up, and it belongs still to Florida State.
job by Parham, but take a look at this. Anthony Polite closing out, hands down. Whoever was watching shoot around, talking to Leonard Hamilton, he closed out, shoot around, and Leonard Hamilton slapped his hands. And Anthony, you've got to have your hands high. That's one of the things they chart. Close out, hands high. Don't allow a guy to have vision to the hoop or to a teammate. He didn't do it in the practice. He didn't do it in the game, and he paid for it.
And DeVoe's the best shooter on Georgia Tech.
Exactly.
18 points a game, 41% from 3 this year for the sophomore. Vassell got another. Boy, that is a pretty high release.
It's almost Kevin Durant-esque how he shoots, because the elbow still flares out a bit, but that ball is so high. And they went zone right there, and there was great recognition again by the Noles, and they carved it up.
Alvarado probing again. Done a nice job dissecting it with the drive.
See good use of his body, got into the lane on 2 that time. He was on balance and able to float it up there.
Nearly reached on Forrest, who missed the shot in close. DeVoe, a lot of dribbling and giving away along the sideline.
It'll miss games earlier, so can that team find consistency in health and how they play? And last but not least, Louisville, they need good guard play. Fresh Kimball and Darius Perry have to be great if that team wants to achieve what they want to achieve, so guard play is going to be something to watch for the Cards.
Not 2020 yet, but some struggles with that resolution for Georgia Tech. They gave it away with another turnover, and Olinichuk makes him pay. Cut back door by Parham. DeVoe, too strong. Forrest. Wide open Polite. Good battle by Vassell. Boy, he has been active. And another held ball. And it goes back to Georgia Tech.
Olinichuk's been really good in this game. And again, sitting deep post position on Moses Wright. Wright got too high. Olinichuk almost lost the kind of his awareness on the floor. Took that extra pivot he didn't really need to take, but finished anyway. He's been really influential in this game. The guy that plays 10 minutes a game, he's already exceeded that. He's going to hit the bench right now. They'll go small. We'll see if Malik Osborne can have the same type of effect on the interior. I don't anticipate it being as easy.
Well, you were talking alphas for Florida State. Leonard Hamilton has also wanted to see more growth as his new bigs, his pair of 7-footers, get used to his system.
Yeah, they're huge in that system. You think of last year, Chris Kumaji and Mufundu Kabengele is now playing in the league. That should have been. And Parham steps up like that and tries to take the charge. There's a lot of contact there for it not to be a call and ends up in a turnover on Florida State. Taking a look. That's tough. I feel like he might have been moving. If anything, it's a block. If it's a no call, I don't really agree with that. Probably just a block there on Tony Henderson, the official underneath the hoop there.
We've had 62 total possessions in this game.
Don't say it,
Plenty of them have been turnovers and make it 21 out of the 63. So a third of the possessions we've had in 18 minutes have been turnovers.
Some hard-hitting analysis for you folks.
How's that for math?
That's really bad. That's not good.
And yet we have a 3-point game as Parham exits. In a game both these teams feel like they have to have in conference action.
Florida State, again, they're 1-1. They lost on the road at Pitt in one of the more shocking losses. Georgia Tech has one of the better wins on the road at NC State to start the season. So Florida State, it seems, I think it's going to contend for a title with Louisville and Duke. They've got to win this game.
Osborne, you see the size difference. He was falling away. Polite took it away from Wright. And he's blocked by Banks. And a foul on the floor. Wright can't believe it.
This is, you got to be strong with the ball, man. There's been both teams have had instances just completely weak with the ball, and here Polite trying to get his body into Banks, and then Wright just goes over his back to make the play. Easy call for the officials.
Deeper bench today. Nathaniel Jack, the junior from Ontario, checks in for Leonard Hamilton. Again, no MJ Walker with a hip injury for Florida State.
Know where Jack is. 21 of his 22 shots in the year now. 22 of 23 are threes. He shoots 43%. So he's going to come in looking to hunt threes bad understanding by Georgia Tech to allow him to run that play. It was called for him. He came off wide open and just missed it.
It's been a search for some perimeter shooting for both these coaches. Foul was on Raekwon Gray, and it sends Banks to the line for the 1-and-1. Banks, the senior from Decatur, Georgia. One-time Texas Longhorn, 62% at the line. And he earns another. Tip off your weekend in the new year with our star-studded NBA doubleheader Friday on ESPN and the ESPN app. The 76ers go up against James Harden and his 38 points per game, and the Rockets 8 p.m. Eastern. Then it's LeBron, AD, and the Lakers against his former team, the Pelicans, at Staples Center. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7.
Is Zion ever going to play?
They're getting back to the basics with him.
He does have problems with how he walks. They're trying to figure that out. Very much on his toes. There's a lot of pressure on his knee, which has been a problem. But man, the dude can hoop. I just want to see him on the court. Or healthy.
Williams, the flush on the baseline.
Great job playing behind the zone. Great find by Vassell. And Williams just smart ball fake, strong body, ain't stopping that.
You said he's going to the NBA whenever he wants to for Patrick Williams.
Yeah, if he wants to go this year, he'll be a top 15 pick. If he wants to wait, probably be the same next year.
DeVoe responds with a 3 to tie it up at 29. Jack off the bounce. Nice teardrop.
He's doing that. That's a whole game changer for him. That's his second two-point field goal attempt this year, and that was a tough one in traffic.
Guy known for his offense. The defense is developing, and it's so essential if you want to play for Leonard Hamilton. Final 10 seconds of the first half. A ball screen for DeVoe and a switch with Osborne on it. The kick for Wright. No good out of the corner to close down the first half. 31-29 from Tallahassee. Stay tuned for the ESPNU halftime report right after this short break.
I'm not picking it up.
Drink. We've got 23 of what, 21 of them already? It is a high number, and you can't have that on either side of the ball. So we'll see if both teams can protect it, have ball security, be strong with the ball, and have better opportunities offensively.
A small ball lineup for Florida State to begin the second half, and we just got word. Balsha Koprivica, the 7'1" freshman big man, will not return due to a lower back injury suffered in the first half when he took that fall. And his fellow freshman Pat Williams with 2 to start the scoring.
And now that's who replaces Koprivica as it moves Malik Osborne to the 5 spot. They put Williams in as well. He is great in the middle part of that zone, and you saw it right there.
Usher back the other way, tried to thread a risky pass. Vassell was excellent in the first half with 8 points, a couple triples. Second effort battle, Banks is on the floor, and a tie-up gives it to Tech.
See, they're the little things right there. There are little things in terms of being able to corral rebounds. Now that's a possession that Georgia Tech will keep. But this should be a rebound that just Jordan Usher times his jump better, goes up, rips that thing down with 2 hands, and you have the ball. Now you've wasted the alternate possession, which could come into effect later on.
Usher muscling back the other way, scores at the rim.
Good take from the SC transfer. Again, stopping on 2 feet, pivoting and trying to finish.
Another loose ball on the baseline, and it goes back to Georgia Tech. Usher in his 5th game back. He spent so much time on the scout team. He was simulating guys like Anthony Edwards.
One of these and probably the number 2 pick in the draft, so it's a good guy to simulate. But you see how he got in the lane and didn't try to go off 1 foot like everybody was doing earlier in the first half. Got in on 2 feet, used a little pivot, was able to finish off a window.
Protect the body, jump stop, shot fake, all that, right?
Be fundamentally sound right now, because when you try to jump with the Noles, you're losing that battle.
Alvarado, nice pass, a shot fake, another one for DeVoe. Plays at such a nice pace. There's right to the rim with 2.
Not sure what happened when initially Devin Vassell just lost sight of DeVoe. They threw it right over his head. That started that whole scramble situation.
Too strong from Polite. Saved it on the baseline. Vassell. Nice touch.
And they go with this small lineup. Leonard Hamilton likes to press to try to either speed Georgia Tech up, or at times right now waste shot clock, and now they get it across at 22. How long till you get in some offense? You've now burned 10 seconds off the shot clock.
You thought Georgia Tech handled the pressure all right when it was full court like that?
They did a great job in the first half. It didn't really affect them. It actually created opportunities that Florida State eliminated at the rim, and that's a bad turnover by Alvarado. There's your pick 6 that Josh Pastner was talking about.
It's 2 for Forrest in the end zone. DeVoe pulls up. He's got another 3. His 4th already.
Polite, he was hard. He was caught between two minds. Do you leave Banks and run out with the ball? Yes, you got to run out the ball because you know it's DeVoe. If it's anybody else, let them take that. But DeVoe, make him go around you and make him try to make a play.
Recovery by Osborne.
Georgia Tech's getting a ton of deflections. So many passes and dribbles by Florida State are being batted around. Well,
Forrest short, right the rebound. Usher, good first step and too strong at the rim. Forrest down the lane with the scoop.
Big 4-point swing. You miss a layup on one end, you make it on the other.
Usher gets it right back for Tech.
Fantastic pass ahead. Great hustle by Usher and finishing with authority.
He just plays so hard. That's how he describes himself, as passionate. Going to give you everything on the court.
That is evident, to say the least.
And loud, too. We noticed that at practice and shoot around the last couple of days.
8 a.m. shoot around. He was the only one out there talking, chattering. He's ready to go. I like it.
Osborne, good interior passing, and Vassell can scoop it all the way home. And just thrown away. Wright crumples to the floor after his 6th turnover. And Alvarado there to pick him up.
And he's got to find a way to keep his head up. But Josh Pastner's rightfully frustrated at that turnover. But this turnover, too, is going to drive him nuts because this is the pick 6. Good hands by Williams. You get going the other way. You give Forrest 2 points, which didn't hurt the Yellow Jackets as much in the first half. Didn't have as many of those type of turnovers, but already have one here in the second half.
I want to go back to what you said in the first half about being aggressive and getting sped up. And Josh Pastner said it to us. We cannot play passive against this team. And maybe just trying to take some of that aggressiveness and get out full court and run, but you throw it away on an outlet.
Yeah, you want to make that pass, but a lot of it's got to be fundamental. You've got to make the pass and put it on a dime. Both these teams had a number of, whether it's kickouts, and that's a tough shot by Trent Forrest, tough miss right there. It's ugly. The fundamentals have not been done very well in this matchup. You see a lot of passes that could be leading to shots that are like a little bit off, or guys dribbling off their legs.
Usher, nice lead for Wright, and it came back out. Gray really got tangled with his footwork.
Lenachuk's got a huge mismatch with Alvarado in the post.
And Alvarado's just battling with him. Lenachuk threw it out. Evans drills one.
Lenachuk, I love how pumped up he was because he made the right play. He had the point guard on him, but he able to corral the ball, and instead of trying to force it up like a lot of bigs do, he kicks it out to Evans, who's wide open, hands and feet ready, and knocks it down.
We had a lot of stop and start in the first half. We have gone up and down these first 5 minutes of the second half, and Raekwon Evans good from deep. Florida State by 4.
Every step in their story.
ACC and their tournament teams. Usually we're talking 8, 9. Can they get 10 in? Folks, you're looking at 5 right now, and I think the best case scenario may be 6. The league is very young and has a lot of potential in terms of next year. This year, a lot of growing pains with young teams and a lot of talent exiting last year, which was a banner year. We had 3 teams that could have won the championship in UVA, UNC, and Duke, and one of them did.
New Year's resolutions, a time for optimism. Who could emerge as tournament teams maybe not being discussed like that right now?
I think Virginia Tech could. They've been the biggest surprise this year, and Mike Young's done a fantastic job. Got really good guys that can really shoot it. When you can do something elite, you always have a shot. That would be the team I look. I think NC State could emerge as a team that could make a second weekend run if C.J. Bryce is in the concussion protocol and he comes back and everything's good there. They've shown quite a bit in terms of something they could do deeper. I think that's a tournament team regardless, though.
Raekwon Evans wants another. That one rolled out on him. Usher gets out and runs the floor. Left it short from deep. Forrest pushes. Evans, too strong.
He just had to turn his hand under. He shot the ball and still had his hand basically under the ball. You want to, behind the ball, excuse me, you want to flip it under, kind of lay it in. He had no touch on it.
Junior college transfer who missed a lot of time with a partially torn hamstring earlier this year. Alvarado left it short, but last touch by Forrest. Good one going here in Tallahassee. 42-40 is the Florida State lead.
At touchofmodern.com.
Colorado, the man with the ball here, is the other player that's really key. Hasn't been as great, 1 for 6, 2 points, 2 assists, but only has 1 turnover. Has got guys into good spots at the right time. So those two guys are playing well and helping keep them in this game. I like this move by Florida State to go zone out of the timeout, different look. Now with 5 seconds on the shot clock. And they always zone OB unders, and will trap that ball in the corner if it goes here.
Saw Evans pointing to the shot clock defensively to alert his Florida State teammates. Wright couldn't beat it. Banks a second chance, and he's blocked by Vassell. First block of the second half for Florida State, which has 9 in the game. The small ball lineup for the Noles. Vassell, great touch again. He's up to a dozen.
And back in that zone again.
This is as large as a lead has been for either team in this game. Alvarado can't trim it, and a rebound by Vassell.
That's what you want Georgia Tech to do. They didn't get any ball reversal, any penetration. It took a 23-foot contested jump.
Ray draws a foul.
Talk about Vassell, a guy that's emerging for them. Again, his length, 7-foot wingspan, goes up, gets the block, ignites the break the other way, and then he gets a little floater in the lane. As they continue with the small ball lineup, it was effective when Linachuk was in there, and even Bolshak Opravica before he got hurt, having a big 7-footer in the middle against that zone or the man has been effective, but now they're playing without it. So you're going to have more ball penetration, more creating for each other, also more, you need to have good rebounding to get out in transition and score ahead of the defense.
Just saw James Banks leave. He has 3 fouls, and Gray left it short. Alvarado's no look. DeVoe. Another one. Mike DeVoe with 5 threes, and it's a 2-point game.
He's seeing a big basket right now. That was NBA range, but he stroked it with confidence.
You've been burrowed away in college football. That's not a name you might recognize as readily as some of the other guys in the ACC, but DeVoe's been doing it all season, averaging 18 coming in. Back tap. They went to Force with 5 to shoot now. Shut off by Alvarado. Loose underneath and a tie-up. Keeps it with Florida State with 1 second on the shot clock on the other side.
Back to Pastner's team, you get Jordan Usher in there. This is the most talented group he's had since he's been at Georgia Tech in his 4th year. And he hopes the results bear that out. Now, they are still under suspension, at least from postseason play from the NCAA. Georgia Tech is appealing that due to some infractions. We'll see where that nets out. But his team, he said, they don't care about that. They're approaching this where you got to win enough games that if it comes to that, you even have a chance to get the tournament, and then you're part of the conversation. That's all they're trying to get to right now.
They knew Usher would be out till the midway point, but they knew he was one of their better players. And then with Alvarado, Josh Pastner said it's like taking away the quarterback of a football team. Wright got caught in the air. Knows he can't touch it again. then dives on it in a scrum.
Raekwon Gray's looking around, but as soon as Gray touches it, it becomes a live ball again. And Gray was trying to get around him. That was almost like a soccer game. It's like a defender trying
Shielding
to
in the corner.
shield the ball in the corner. Smart play, as was this. Just Osborne realizes I'm unguarded. They're not communicating on the baseline, on the OB under, and allowing Osborne to slip back to the basket. That just can't happen. That's too easy.
And then the team swapped turnovers after that. Great baseline out of bounds on the other end. Nets 2 for Alvarado.
Speaking of too easy. And again, when they do this zone OB under, they try to bump cutters. You come together and you talk it out. There, nobody even looked at Alvarado, and he realized that. He just went right down the lane line. Smallest guy in the court. Easy layup.
Still a 2-point game. Still a long way to go here from the Tucker Center. Dallin Cuff, Mike Monaco, our ESPN crew with you. And Gray drives and draws a foul.
Good recognition again against the zone that Georgia Tech has run the last couple possessions. Raekwon Gray finds himself in the short corner. Instead of settling for the 15-footer, went to the rim. Honestly, should have made the layup. Should have been an and one. Couldn't do it, but it gets himself to the free throw line.
Gray, the redshirt sophomore from Fort Lauderdale. Last year, a starter in the NCAA tournament for Phil Kofer. Remember all the injuries that hit the Seminoles down the stretch, and a guy who has lost a ton of weight in his career and has quite the skill set.
And Kofer losing his father in the tournament too. One of the worst stories. And this team coming together, Kofer leaving the team to be mourning with his family, and then moving forward and of course getting to the Sweet 16.
To follow up the Elite 8 run the year before. DeVoe lost his footing, and another held ball. We'll give it back to Florida State. This is a game where you got to have your 20/20 vision fixated on that arrow at midcourt across the way.
And you got to know who's had possession. There have been, I don't know, 8 or 9 alternate possessions at this point in time. I mean, it shows what a conference game's about. I mean, the intensity is different. The scouting is, you know the team better. There's more on the line. It's a more intense environment. And teams are reflecting that.
Polite. Ooh, hard foul as Usher went up to meet him. Usher, a guy who had a flagrant 2 in Georgia Tech's last game against Hawaii out at the Diamond Head Classic. Let's have another look.
Roger Ayers immediately pointed to the sideline saying, we're going to review this. Glad we get a look at the replay first. The pass between the legs was beautiful. Now that, the bringing of the second hand could result in an F1 here, because the one hand going for the ball, the second one, you know, look at that great pass to get there. And Polite attacking the rim again. The short corners are part of the 1-3-1 is susceptible in. As he brings that second arm, I think you're going to be able to say there was a little bit of excessive contact. Because at that point, you're not really trying to get the ball. You're just trying to make sure that he can't continue to go through you.
Well, let's show you Jordan Usher and what happened in the last game for Georgia Tech. This was out in Hawaii last Wednesday, a flagrant 2 with 9.5 to go, so he was gone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and in full speed, it looks worse than it does in slow motion. I think as you see, he kind of lets go. But being one of the emphases in college basketballs the last couple years is that hook and hold play, which is immediate F1.
Polite, 12 of 16 at the free throw line this season. The redshirt sophomore.
It's a team that shot the free throws really well this year, 76%, outstanding. Best in the ACC.
So it had been a 3-point game as we take another look.
And you see that right hand, that's fine if they're called there, but it's when he brought that left hand in to do nothing else but to not allow him to get through to the basket. You're no longer making a play on the ball, you're making a play on the man.
Yeah, I think pretty clear cut there.
Yeah. Now, just from a strategic standpoint, that zone, they're back in the man, which is a good move because Florida State attacked that zone really well the last 2 possessions, getting in the short corner and getting great looks.
Speaking of attack, there's Gray on the baseline, and it's the largest Florida State lead.
No help side, dangerous time here, 7-point game. The crowd's getting into it, they're playing in pressure. Technique's a good possession.
Right, got it off the window as he went up with 2 hands looking to hammer it.
The right one may have hit the rim, but Polite back the other way.
tried to shut off Polite, who might have extended the arc. Vassell. In and out.
This possession, I'd like to see get Alvarado in some ball screen action. He's been very good at finding guys in the middle or finding DeVoe as they roll into place. DeVoe will pop up here looking for a shot.
Uses the shot fake. Wedges his way to the basket, and it stays with Georgia Tech. 7 on the shot clock.
They run that action a lot when they need a shot. Alvarado comes off a ball screen to replace and have DeVoe come up the top. And he can look to shoot it or go. Josh Pastner's on the floor by like 15 feet.
He thought the substitution came too late from the Florida State bench.
And obviously bringing in Patrick Williams, a guy that's got great athleticism and length and maybe be able to protect the basket here in the 7-second shot clock situation.
An inadvertent horn. DeVoe from the corner. Too strong rebound, Osborne. Tenuous spot in this game if you're Georgia Tech. Vassell from Forrest. Leonard Hamilton and his team trying to tighten that grip that they've got on Georgia Tech right now with some of that full court pressure. But a reach in from behind. And DeVoe draws the foul.
Not a bad foul by Vassell there. It's only their first foul of the half, so they had a potential odd man situation there. You kind of tap it from behind. It's only a second personal. Stops him in his tracks.
He said defending with a zone on the baseline out of bounds. Parham, quick first step, shut off by the help of Osborne.
With this smaller lineup, they just switch off ball screens, so the bigs have to guard the guards.
Alvarado tried to muscle it through Osborne.
That ain't easy to do.
Williams, tough ball away. It's good for the freshman. Man, he has so many tools in the arsenal.
That's a tough shot. And I know, honestly, not one you necessarily need with 20 seconds on the shot clock, but talented guy knocks it down.
He was number 28 in our ESPN 100, one spot behind Trace Jackson Davis and a few spots ahead of Cassius Stanley. It's a 9-2 run for the Noles. Wright connects.
That's a big-time shot, not just because of the score, but the ball was thrown at his feet. He's 6'10", has to go down and catch it at his feet. They don't close out with the hands up. He was able to get it up and knock it down. Huge play.
Williams rising for a follow.
The freshman has changed the game since he has come in and substituted for Anthony Polite just a few minutes ago.
DeVoe stumbling, but it's a foul on Forrest, his first. Williams is a whole lot of fun to watch. 6'8" freshman can do it in a variety of ways.
He is smooth with the step back. And then we know his athleticism coming in with his offhand to get the tip and give his green coming.
11 deep for Florida State. They've gotten scoring from everyone but Wyatt Wilkes. Right, down the lane, into the trees.
At some point, these guys are going to learn to jump stop and throw a ball fake. Maybe not today, but later in the season.
If you're just tuning in for this one, the Florida State defense and the length. So problematic in the first half. Look out, Malik Osborne. He cocked that thing back.
And he's hyped. Give him a 10-point lead. Problematic. Well said.
DeVoe responds. A career-high 6 made threes for Michael DeVoe.
They've got to start thinking about maybe not leaving him, not helping off him. I know that changes your defensive principles, but anytime he's catching right now, he is seeing a big basket, 6 threes. They're not able to run him off the line. He's killing.
He's only missed twice from distance. Gray tried to use the size advantage on Parham.
2 Parhams could fit inside of 1 Gray, and he recognized that, but couldn't finish.
Alvarado pulls up. Back iron. Quick trigger.
At the right time for that. You're on the road. You just cut it to 7. You can get that shot anytime you want. Work harder to get a good one first.
And Alvarado, who was very quiet the first time last year these teams met. Just 2 of 10 shooting. Remember, he is sick, we told you earlier. He had the hoodie on at shoot-around this morning. Shot clock winding down. Osborne can do it from deep as well.
This is such a typical performance by them. Just guys coming and emerging in little spurts and doing stuff. Williams was right before Osborne. Now Osborne with the dunk. Buries a huge 3, his 10th of the campaign.
DeVoe turned right into Forrest, who commits the Florida State foul.
This was a huge play. Great job. Another lob by Forrest, recognizing when both stepped up off the ball screen that if Osborne will be playing behind the defense, he throws it at the rim. Weak side help is way late, and he throws it down.
Forrest gets a breather for Raekwon Evans.
Looked like Alvarado got a piece of it, but Roger Ayers says, no, we'll stay here. And this is a tough place to inbound the ball in the dead corner like that, where you can't move. And a guy like Williams should get kind of big on the ball and make it tough for them. That was too easy.
They got it into Parham. Matched up with Polite. Parham handling as the shot clock winds down. Usher, tough step back, way off target. Linichuk working hard, sets a bruising ball screen.
That's where Williams had him again on the lob. If he didn't throw it to the top of the key.
They get the foul on the floor on Jordan Usher. That's 3 on him.
This is where Williams, he's clapping his hands, a little upset, because remember, he had the lob in the first half to Linichuk that he missed. He threw it to the ground, threw it into a Georgia Tech player's hands. And then coming off the ball screen, he should have lobbed it up top.
Bo tried to dig down. Oh, Linichuk gets it this time, and the touch again from the big man.
How smart is this by Leonard Hamilton? Linichuk did not play just maybe a couple minutes in the second half here because he played so many in the first and he was sucking wind. So he saves him for the last 5 minutes here. He's come on and been an impact player yet again.
Parham too strong. Some regen, as they might call it in soccer.
Mid-game regen right there. Don't really get that in soccer, not the mid-game, post-game.
Another ball screen from the big man, Linichuk. There's the lob from the freshman, learning in game, and then a loose ball.
But there's where Linichuk, he's a 5th-year senior. I know you're tired, young man. You got to go up and hammer that down.
DeVoe streaks back, got in too deep. The lead at a dozen coming up on the final 3 minutes here in the second half.
Going almost exclusively to that side ball screen of Linichuk since he's come into the game.
Right, the foul in the post, battling with it.
Big fella's made a difference. A little inside out, they drop it off to him. Feathery touch. Started 5 of 7 in the half, and that's really a testament to Florida State. They went small, they switched everything, they made everything difficult at the rim, and then they converted offensively when they were able to get out in transition and in the half court.
Doing it here with Usher. And count the bucket, plus a foul. We have seen so many dunks today go down and come out, or nearly go down and roll around. Usher finished.
Finally, because he had one earlier in the game, and he may have traveled there too, but he exploded there like a running back through a hole and finishes a big basket now to cut this thing to 9. Expect Georgia Tech to press out of the break here, which they had a lot of success in the Diamond Head Classic with, especially against Hawaii, but Hawaii's guards really struggle with it. This is a different caliber of guard with the Noles.
Forrest is in there for Florida State. Gray handling as well, and they break it. Quick trigger for Polite, a three.
One of these guys just make the right play. Vassell was gonna try to, instead of trying to take a tough layup off the wrong foot, he went under the basket, kicks it out. Polite wide open, strokes it.
Georgia Tech had sensed the opening.
Alvarado's got to realize they were switching the screen there, so Forrest stopped short and almost got a turnover. Great job breaking the press. Gray uses a ball fake, always great against the press, gets it to the middle where you want to get it. Out from underneath the baseline, wide open to one of your best shooters.
DeVoe does get the timeout granted by Roger Ayers.
But you almost don't want that. You got to save your timeouts here. You're trying to battle back. You just got to work harder to get open.
Final timeout used by Georgia Tech.
On the road, you've got to maximize your opportunities in a game where you haven't shot it poorly. You just haven't got shots up on the rim because you're turning it over too much.
Final game of the decade for these teams. Remember, this was 48-45. Florida State up by 3. 8 minutes ago of game action, the 10-minute mark of this second half. The flagrant one on Jordan Usher led to a quick 4 for Florida State. The lay-in rolled out on DeVoe. Loose ball to Gray.
That's something Josh Pastner will look at too. Is guys, how many layups and dunks do we miss in this game? I think off the top of the head, I can think 5.
Told us today at shoot-around, we've got to score, and that's been such a problem for this team. The worst adjusted offensive efficiency, according to KenPom in the ACC. Polite with 3 to shoot. Off target and a shot clock violation. Told you earlier at the half, we got a couple more ACC games coming up. You can watch over on ACC Network, including that one you see at the top right of your screen. Duke getting Trey Jones back today. Derek Thornton against his old team.
Derek Thornton, now a 5th-year senior, went and played at USC after transferring from Duke. He grad transferred to BC, so he's back in the ACC. And he's led one of the surprise teams in terms of ACC play. BC's 2-0. They went into Notre Dame, beat Notre Dame, your alma mater, earlier this month. Now have a chance to maybe move to 3-0. That would be a shocking win. Trey Jones coming back really is a story of that game. And he'd be completely healthy, and he will be able to bottle up Derek Thornton, because when Thornton doesn't go, that team struggles to go.
Pick and pop with Williams. He's very comfortable in the mid-range.
Pace of his game, never sped up. 2 dribbles, stops on a dime, elevates, knocks it down.
Usher draws a foul. Talked about Duke, the other heavyweights. Florida State's going to Louisville on Saturday. Those are your big 3 in the conference, right?
Those are the 3 I think that will contend for the ACC title. I think Florida State and Duke have a ceiling to be hit, and they've got some growing to do to really get there. Louisville's slightly ahead in terms of just guys that have done it before and some talented players, and Jordan Wara, potentially player of the year. But those 3 in that game, particularly against the Seminoles, is going to be great.
Speaking of Louisville, remember they had the loss at the hands of number 22 Texas Tech. This is Saturday, noon Eastern, ESPN2 in Lubbock. Start of Big 12 play. Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. You said guard play is so important for Louisville going forward.
Yeah, guard play is critical for them, and guard play is critical in this game too. Oklahoma State's got Isaac Likely and other really good guards and a good team. Thomas Azaga, one of the best shooters in the country, against Texas Tech and Chris Beer's squad. So that's going to be a great game with 2 teams that are probably going to be playing into March. Into the tournament, I should say. Everybody's playing the first week of March.
Coming up on the final 30 seconds here in Tallahassee. A very close game for much of this afternoon. First 30 minutes were tight. Florida State started to pull away. Williams on the baseline is out of bounds with 23.3 to go.
We'll see what Georgia Tech does down 12. This is still significant to some.
Usher turns it over to end it. And Florida State will improve to 2-1 in ACC action.
And a game they had to have. They ratcheted up the intensity. which is their calling card on the defensive end, and that's what changed this game, allowed them to get out in transition. We saw a number of high-flying dunks in the right plays at the right times to pull away from the Yellow Jackets. A talented group, but in the end, the Noles just too much of them.
Final score here, 70-58. On behalf of Dallin Cuff and our entire ESPN crew, Mike Monaco saying goodbye from Tallahassee.